Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a simple set, and it's going to be a full set today, and she brought a picture and we're just going to kind of work around it, see what we come up with. So first, we're going to be pushing back the cuticles. This we never want to skip, and today my focus is going to be on lifting. This video is going to be focused on lifting. Never skip pushing back the cuticle. I know sometimes we get very comfortable, we get complacent, so we start skipping steps, but it doesn't matter how long I've been doing nails, I never skip the step of pushing back the cuticle. And then I have this cuticle bit that I use to clean up the cuticle. If you're struggling with lifting, you should try to get one of these bits because it really helps in going close to the cuticle, and that way you can get to clean up as much as possible, because I know sometimes the sanding band can be a bit big for some people, or it's harder to manage, so you can't really get as close to the cuticle. So try to get one of these because it's not aggressive and it's going to get the job done. So we want to make sure we do that, and then now we're going to be coming back in with my 180 sanding band, and I'm going to be prepping the rest of the nail. So for this, I'm just using light motions to get the shine of the natural nails and to get rid of all the stuff that the cuticle bit wasn't able to remove. So the cuticle bit is just for the detailed cuticle work, but I still come back with my sanding band, and I'm not putting pressure on the natural nails. I'm doing light feathers because you're literally just removing the shine, and you don't want to file your client's natural nails too much, because then you're gonna make their nails thin. So if you want to keep your client's nails thick and healthy, when you're prepping it, try not to put so much pressure on it. So one more thing as well, I never skip this step. I'm gonna come in and I'm clipping my cuticles. You want to start from the right to the left, and when you're clipping the cuticle, make sure you're moving your hands. Don't just have your hand in one position. When you're going around the cuticle, you move your hand in the same motion. Try to be flexible. Don't just stay in one spot, one angle. You have to switch up the angles. That way you don't cut the client, because you have to have that nipper positioned right. That way you're getting the angles right, so you're not cutting your clients. So just be mindful of that. So as I said before, don't get complacent and start skipping certain parts of the nail routine, because the little things is what causes the nail to lift. Did you spend time to make sure you clean up the cuticle right? I'm not saying you should spend 5-10 minutes cleaning up the cuticle. No, but just be careful when you're doing it and make sure you're doing what's supposed to be done, what's important. Also, when I'm measuring the tips, you want to make sure you measure from sidewall to sidewall. If the tip is too small, please do not use that one. I would prefer if you use like the tip that's a little bit bigger, and then you can always come in with your hand file and shape the edges, and so you can get the perfect fit. So if you have a bigger tip and a smaller tip, try to go with the bigger one, because at least that one you can get it to fit exactly how you want it to fix. So you need your tips to be from sidewall to sidewall, because then the nail have its full strength and it doesn't break that easily. And sometimes when the tip is too small and you're trying to glue it on, when you press it down, it pops right back up. And I'm using these Coffintips. They're on my website. I'm going to be leaving the link in my bio. These tips sticks very fast. I remember I was in this Facebook group, and one girl was saying her glue is not working, but sometimes it's not the glue, it's the tip. Some tips are really hard to work with. They take forever to stick. So sometimes it's not the glue, the tips takes long to stick, because I've had tips like that in the past where the glue is great. The only way it's the glue is if the glue is old or it's just definitely a bad glue. But most times or sometimes it can also be the nail tips. So now I usually use a scissors to cut the length of my nails. So I'm gonna come in. Usually when I cut one nails, what I do, let's say they said they're getting medium nails. I cut one just above medium just to make sure we're on the same page, because I don't want to be that girl who cut, exactly medium, and then they're like, oh, that's not what I meant. I wanted it to be longer. It's better if I cut it longer. And then you be like, no, I want it to go shorter. So I always do that. If they say medium, I cut just above medium length, and then I show it to them. And then if they want to go shorter, they say shorter, or that's fine. But I just prefer to stay on the safe side and cut longer. So then I'm coming in also with this hand file. It's also on my website. All these stuff will be in the link in my description box, so you can go and check those out. This is the 100 grit files, and what I love the most about these files is they get the job done and they're not aggressive and hard. You know how some files, the grit of it is so hard. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it doesn't give you a smooth ride. But this is a 100, and it doesn't feel as coarse and aggressive, and it's getting the job done. These files are so great, guys. I would love for you to check them out. So I'm going in and I'm just going over the shaping, because this is a coffin tip and the tip was already pre-shaped. So I'm just going in and making sure everything is looking exactly how I want it to look. I'm not doing much shaping. So then usually I do come in and I blend the where the tip and the natural nail meet. Is that the well? Yeah, I blend the well of the nail, because sometimes, especially if you're going to be doing a polish, after you put your acrylic on, if you're doing a polish and you leave that hump right there, sometimes it shows through the polish. And I just think you have a better application whenever you blend the tip. I just love how my acrylic flows, and just do it. That way you don't have to worry about what might happen. Back to the case lifting. So I use Young Nails Protein Bond, and I use this to prep the nail. I've been using this for like 3 years, and I absolutely love it. And I do 2 coats. So when I'm done with this, then I go back again and I put another coat. So I do 2 coats. And whenever you're putting your primer on, try not to flood the cuticle, because you want to make sure when you put the acrylic on, it's adhering properly to the nails. And then I'm using liquid and powder as well from 876 Nails, and this powder is called NyomiNude. So I want you to go ahead and check it out. It's perfect for ombres, and it's just the right cover powder, the go-to cover powder. So definitely check that out. So when I place my first bead, I place it right where the tip and the natural nail meets. And then I just brush that down towards the tip, making sure everything is nice and smooth. And I'm not using heavy pressure or too much force. I'm just letting this flow and using light motions to guide the acrylic towards the tip of the nail, because we do not want to be too hard or be too rough on the product and then end up removing most of the product. Then we have to keep adding products to the nail. So we want to make sure we're not being too aggressive with this part and just trying to control the product as much as possible. And we also want to make sure the acrylic is applied evenly throughout all the nail, and our apex looks good, the tip looks good, because if the apex of the nails is too thin, then you're gonna have breakage, because that's where you get the strength from. So we're just making sure everything is looking nice and smooth, and also we are wiping the side of the nail, that way we keep the shape of the nail. So once again, we're coming in with the first bead and we're placing it right where the tip and the natural nail meets. And also, guys, I wanted to talk about temperature. It's the time is getting colder, so the acrylic is going to be runny. So you have to make sure the temperature in your room is the right temperature, because when it's hot, the acrylic dries faster, and when it's too cold, the acrylic runs a lot. So sometimes you might think, oh, this product is not good, but sometimes it's the temperature. So make sure your room is at room temperature, and if it's too cold, then you might be having a lot of running. So just be mindful of that. So when I place my cuticle bead, I place it right above the cuticle. I don't place it exactly on top of the cuticle. I place it just above, like ½ inch above the cuticle, and then I tuck it back towards the cuticle. You want to make sure you clean up all your side walls. That way the acrylic is not on top of the skin. If the acrylic is on top of the skin, you will have lifting, because it's hard for you to remove that acrylic, and the rest of the acrylic is still snug to the nail. So you want to make sure that you apply the acrylic not exactly on top of the cuticle, because it's going to be harder to control, and it's going to be hard for the acrylic not to flow all over the place. So I'm gonna be doing this one a bit slower so you guys can see what I'm saying. The first bead goes right where the tip and the natural nail meets. When I place the first bead down as well, if it was like a lot of powder, I try to keep most of the powder towards where the tip and the natural nail meets, and I use that to help me build my apex. And then I brush the rest of it towards the tip of the nails, make the tip, and I clean up my sides just to make sure I keep my shape. There is absolutely no aggressiveness to this process. You have a good powder, your acrylic is consistent, you should be good. So the second bead, look at that. You see that space where I placed the acrylic, where the cuticle is? That's where you should place the acrylic. Do not place it exactly on top of the cuticle. Place it just above the cuticle, and then you tuck it back towards the cuticle. This way you have enough time to control the product, and the product doesn't get all over the skin. Now you're gonna blend it in light motion. Do not dig in the acrylic. We're just doing light motion. And then if you see anything that needs to be fixed after that, don't be shy, don't be afraid to come back in and add bits and pieces just to make sure your nail look nice and smooth, because we're not trying to work harder, we're working smarter. So if you do this part right, if you get this part right, then you will not have much filing to do, and your shape is still in place, because we don't want to waste our time. We just spent 5-10 minutes shaping the nail for what? So make sure you're cleaning up the sides, that way you're not working backwards. We shaped in the beginning, so we have to keep that shape. So again, the cuticle bead, placed it just above the cuticle. And if the acrylic starts to flow in the cuticle and do the most, don't panic. It happens to everyone. It happens to me all the time. The acrylic was too wet and it started flowing in the cuticle, but I don't panic. That's what we have a brush for. Just use the brush and clean up the cuticle. That's it. And I think also with lifting, the drier you work, if the acrylic is too dry, then that's gonna cause lifting. So try to work, I would say if I should choose between a wet bead or a dry bead, it would definitely be a wet bead. Dry beads cause lifting because it doesn't get to adhere to the nail as much as it should. When it's wet, it just snugs and holds on to the nail right. I'm not saying it should be runny, but I'm just saying a dry bead is a terrible bead. So try to stay away from dry beads, especially when you get to that cuticle, because you want that acrylic to melt and holds on to the nail properly. I don't know, but I'm sure you might have noticed before that sometimes when you are done applying your acrylic and you start filing, you already see that you're having lifting, or you already see that it's like it's a chip at the back of the nail. Sometimes it's because you filed it with the drill, so you were too aggressive with the drill, and okay, you remove some of the product. But oftentimes it's because that cuticle bead was too wet, so the acrylic didn't get a chance to, it wasn't too wet, I meant to say that cuticle bead was too dry, so the acrylic didn't really snug or adhere to the nails properly. So we definitely want to make sure that we're being careful with that cuticle bead. Okay, so now we're done with the prep work, which was the first step of lifting, how to prevent lifting. We went through the prep, we did the application, and now after all that's said and done, it comes back down to the drilling. So you did all that right, but you didn't drill the nail properly. You still gonna have lifting. You have to seal the cuticle. You have to make sure you have that pinky finger resting on the client's nail or your hand, wherever you're gonna rest it. But that pinky finger is very important. It's going to help you to keep your hand steady. It's a great stabilizer. It gives you control over the drill. So that pinky finger, just try it. Try to place that pinky finger on something. It helps you to control the drill. It helps you to keep your hand stable, and it's just a life changer when you start using your pinky finger. So like I said, if you do not go around the cuticle and seal that nail, make sure there's no acrylic on the top of the skin, you are going to get lifting. So you want to go with a medium drill bit. You can also get a safety drill bit. You don't have to use the one that I'm using. You can get a safety drill bit. And also what you can do is that cuticle bit, if the safety drill bit still didn't seal the cuticle as much as you'd love it to, you can go in with that cuticle bit when you're done drilling with this drill bit. When you're done drilling, you can go in with your cuticle bit and you can seal the cuticle with that cuticle bit. That way no water will get underneath your nails. So see how I'm going slow. You want to make sure you seal the cuticle, because if you don't, I promise you, you're gonna get lifting. So it's different steps and each one of them is just as important. Without one, the other will lift. So please make sure you're following all the steps to prevent the lifting. So we have the prep, the acrylic application, and the drilling and the sealing of the cuticle. Very important in lifting, and the prepping of the nail. I missed that. So the prep work in the beginning, your primer, your acrylic application, that cuticle bead, and the drilling, sealing the cuticle. You have to follow each step. You can't skip any of those steps, or else it's going to be a high chance of lifting. I'm going to let the rest of this video run until we get to the design part. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet, please go ahead, pause this video and do that right now. Because what are you waiting for? Your girl got you. I'm gonna be dropping all these videos. I'm gonna be here with y'all. We can go through all of this together. Leave a comment in the comment section, guys. If you have any questions at all, leave me a comment in the comment section. If you see a video or you want me to make a specific video on a certain topic, leave it in the comment section, and I'm gonna try to make sure I put that on the list of things to do and the list of videos that I want to do. So use that comment section. It's there for a reason. And subscribe to my channel. I'm back again. I know I said I was going to be back at the end of the video, but I just wanted to state why I'm filing the nail after I'm done drilling. So this filing I use for refining. You know, sometimes that drill, it leaves dents and it leaves, you know, certain marks in the nail. So I just use my hand file, the same 100 grit. This hand file, I'm telling you guys, the link is going to be in my description box. You're going to get very close to the cuticle, and with the shape of this hand file, it's designed perfectly where you can go in and you can smooth the nails out. You want to do this. I used to skip this step before, and I noticed my pictures didn't look right and my nails wasn't as smooth. So make sure you come in and smooth your nails out. So I'm just gonna come in with this blooming gel. I got this blooming gel from Not Polish, and whenever I'm gonna do like a marble design, I usually come in and put it on before I put the polish on top of the nail. That way the marble can, you know, bloom and it just gives a better effect. So I usually use this blooming gel, and I have this one, as I said before, I got it from Not Polish. So we're gonna use pink and white for the marble. So I did come in with this cleanup brush that I have for a very long time, and I just decided I'm gonna use this brush with a dotting tool, and we're gonna do the marble. So I can't tell you how exactly to do a marble because all marble design will not look the same. But what I know, you have to work fast. When doing the marble, you have to work fast, and you have to have an idea of which color you want to stand out more, and how you want the pattern to be. So you just have to have those things in mind and work it from there. However, I did decide to go back and remove the first one that I did because I just thought it was too much white and it was too thick. So I just cleaned that off, and then I decided to make it look more like the second hand with more pink, and the marble wasn't so dramatic and it wasn't as thick. So I just cleaned that off, and I'm gonna come back and do it again. I really love this design. I love all marble design. Like, marble designs are fast and they're cute and they're simple. They get the job done. If you're in a rush, you can do a marble and like an accent nail. So yeah, see, I preferred that look instead of the first one, how it was looking with all the white in it, you know, and it wasn't as detailed. And I'm just putting them together, making sure, you know, they're in order and they line up properly. So these gold strips, people always ask me where I get these from. I just know I ordered these off Amazon a long time ago. Since I just started doing nails, you know, when you just started to do nails, you get all these stuff. This was one of them. I have so much stickers. So I cannot find this purchase to leave the link in my description, but I'm gonna go again and I'm gonna see if I can find it. So when I'm working with these gold strips, guys, you want to kind of make sure the sticky part is not touching on your gloves, or it's not getting too much on the nipper or the scissors, because you don't want to take that stickiness away. You want to make sure when you put it on your client's hand, it has the full effect, or it adheres properly. So you want to make sure you try to stay away from the sticky side, and you will get it to stick properly that way. So yeah, that's one thing. I love to do it, but it takes a minute. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a minute to put these stickers on, because some of them take forever to be removed from the paper, and then you have to make sure you don't touch the sticky side too much, and then you have to make sure it doesn't curls up on you. But there's a way to do that. You use a nipper and you just make sure you don't touch that sticky side, and then when you place it, don't just place it and paste it. Place the tip of the sticker first, look if it aligns, and then you stick it down, because you don't want to stick it down, then you have to pull it back up because it's not straight. this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button, and all links for the products used in this video will be in the description box. Until next time.